And you hurt for those guys, because the world's going to judge everybody in that room based on the result tonight, right? I'm going to judge those guys on the kind of fathers they become someday, the kind of husbands they become someday. But in this moment, you feel like a failure, right, for them, and they're not. They're not failures. These guys won a lot of damn ball games. They had a lot of success. They've changed some people's lives. But right now, in that moment, it's going to hurt. And the hard part, you got guys like Bryce that, that they don't get to be a Duck anymore. They'll be a Duck forever, but he doesn't get to go wear that uniform and go play a game for us again. And I really wanted that for them. Really wanted them to be able to enjoy that and experience that, and they don't get to, right? And I didn't do a good enough job getting them there. And they set the stage where there might be an opportunity down the road where somebody, in this program is able to create something like that again, but he won't get to share that, but he will be a part of it if we're able to accomplish that moving forward.
How you look at the decision you have upcoming to return or not, and maybe the process of going through that decision making?
Yeah, I knew that question was coming. I'm gonna soak this moment up. That's most importantly. Just giving hugs and just thank yous to my teammates. But at the end of the day, I don't know my decision yet. I'm going to talk to Coach Lane and talk to my family and everybody. But at the end of the day, I don't want to think about that right now. I just want to think about my teammates and give love to them. But appreciate you, though.
What kind of an impact did the crowd have tonight? Obviously, heavily favored Indiana.
Yeah, I thought it was just the red seats, but it was the Indiana fans. They had a ton of fans here. Of course, I'm just glad that the fans were able to make it. I'm glad they came. But, yeah, thought we can go verbal, speaking cadence, but, it was pretty loud. At the end of the day, it's a dome, it gets pretty loud, but we prepared for loud situations, change up the cadence. But, yeah, they came out and showed out.
I think every man can learn from adversity, right? I just told that whole locker room, right? This is going to be about how do you respond in life. This is going to be a life lesson that a lot of people never get, right? We just got our butt kicked, right? That's going to happen in life, right? And not just Dante. Every single person in that locker room, every coach, every person can learn, hey, how do you respond to that, right? Some people crawl into a hole, right? Don't face the music. Some people say, okay, let's figure it out. Let me challenge myself so I can get better. Let me go be an example to how do you handle moments like this, right? I think there's a way to handle that, and Dante's been exceptional. Bryce, these guys have been exceptional stewards of what we want it to look like all year long, and it's gone right for us 13 times, right? It didn't go right tonight, and you can't let that overshadow. Every one of us has unbelievable disappointment. You're going to learn from it, but there's a lot of lessons to be learned for everybody in life, right? And we'll learn the hard lessons here. And you know what? Most people will never be in the position where they get to learn that lesson on the stage that we get to learn on, right? These guys were in that position.
Yeah, I would say delayed gratification is a concept that, was brought up by Stoicism and by the Stoics, and I think it's one of the greatest. It's one of the greatest attributes. If you're able to have delayed gratification, discipline in yourself and discipline in your process and preparation, you're able to execute every single week like, this play or this game is the national championship game. Like, this game is the most important thing. And so I think that a lot of players and a lot of coaches and just everybody in Bloomington has done a great job of, upholding that concept of delayed gratification and discipline throughout all aspects of our lives. When there's a lot of distractions, and, especially with the Big Ten championship and, the Heisman and all the other things, I think our team has done a great job of keeping that delayed gratification at the forefront.
Right.
Yeah, I would say that it was a great team effort. There's a lot of contested catches. Charlie Becker's touchdown, Elijah Surratt, making contested catches all over the field. Omar Cooper and EJ, they were getting open all game. And to be able to throw with those guys, I'm just like a point guard out there. I'm just throwing to the open guy, and they shoot the threes. And, I get the glory and, the fame, but those guys are the ones that make those shots that, make the threes. And there's still a lot, although the scoreboard doesn't show it, there's still a lot that I got to improve on, like footwork. There was a protection check I missed, and, there's, a ball that, I want to have back. So, there's always things to improve, and especially for the national championship game, I think it's important not to, dwell on the past. Oh, it was a great performance. This is a national championship, and for this next week, for myself, I don't think there's any time to celebrate because this is what everybody dreams of. And I'm gonna put every ounce of my body into preparation going to this next game.
This did not sound like a neutral site game. What impact did the crowd have on you tonight?
Yeah, the crowd had a fantastic impact, and shout out to Hoosier Nation for being here. We played at Autzen Stadium, Week 5. I believe I probably had 5 or 6 pre-snap penalties.
7.
Oh, 7. 7, 7 pre-snap penalties. as Coach United just stated, like that's huge. That's huge, especially that's one of the ways that you're able to lose a game. And I think that, not having to go on silent count because of Hoosier Nation being here and making them go on silent count is a huge aspect of the game and the offensive operation that's not talked about enough. So shout out to Hoosier Nation because, going on silent count, especially against the Ducks, is always tough. And making the other team go on silent count, I mean, that might have as well account for some points.
National championship preseason, we're 100-1. What should they be going into this game against Miami?
Well, you all have a job to do. And a lot of times you'll piggyback off somebody else's story or belief, and there's pressure to get it nowadays with the internet, get the story out there. And a lot of those people really don't know our team. They don't know what we're made of, what we got, and I get it. There was a lot of skepticism after last year that we were a fluke. That team did a lot of great things and got it all started. That team never trailed till the 9th game of the year. And when it did, 10-0 in the first quarter up at Michigan State, they scored 47 straight. I think a lot of that negative stuff in the media fueled the guys returning from this team, and we added some real key pieces. The main one sitting right here on my left, but other ones as well. Great leaders, great players. And we've just built off our successes, and we've won some big games on the road. And it helps when you have a quarterback play his best football when the game's on the line in the fourth quarter. And so, here we are.